Hello students, I welcome you all to today's lesson about the types of fruits. Strict botanical sense ਵਿੱਚ fruit flowering plant ਦੀ fleshy ਜਾਂ dry ovary ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਅੰਦਰ ਇੱਕ ਜਾਂ ਕਈ seeds ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਵੀ define ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। The seed bearing part of a plant, often edible, colorful and fragrant, produced from a floral ovary after fertilization. Fruit is basically the ripened ovary of a flowering plant that contains the seeds, sometimes fused with other parts of the plant. Fruits can be dry or fleshy. A fruit develops from one or more carpels, and carpels are collectively called gynoecium. Usually, only the basal part of the gynoecium, that is the ovary, develops into a fruit, whereas the style and stigma wither. Accessory structures may be closely associated with the carpel or carpels and display various degrees of fusion to them, thus becoming part of the fruit. Today we will look at the structure, types, and variety of examples of fruit types which will help you to know more about the fruit. But before going into details, first let me share the learning objectives for today's lesson.
Upon completion of this topic, learners will be able to define fruit, describe structure of fruit, describe different types of fruits, give examples of different types of fruits.
Introduction. Students, fruit plant ਦੇ female part ਤੋਂ develop ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਆਮ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਵਿੱਚ fruit gynoecium ਦਾ edible part ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਉਹ floral part ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਆਮ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ sweet, juicy ਜਾਂ fleshy ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। Botanist fruits ਨੂੰ ਦੋ ਮੁੱਖ ਟਾਈਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੰਡਦੇ ਹਨ। ਆਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਟਾਈਪਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਚਰਚਾ ਕਰੀਏ।
Types of fruits. There are two types of fruits. These are true fruit, false fruit. Let us discuss these one by one. True fruit. A fruit derived from ovary of a flower not associated with any non-carpellary part is called a true fruit. It is also known as eucarp. Common example of true fruit is mango. In mango, fruit is derived from only carpellary structure, that is ovary. Other examples are cucumber, pea, grapes, and tomato. False fruit. The fruit derived from the ovary along with other accessory floral parts is called a false fruit. Common example of false fruit is apple. In apple, the main edible part of the fruit is fleshy receptacle. Other false fruits are banana, pear, and walnut. This type of fruit is also known as pseudocarp.
Students, the term false fruit or pseudocarp is sometimes applied to a fruit like the fig or to a plant structure that resembles a fruit but is not derived from a flower or flowers. Some gymnosperms, such as yew, have fleshy areoles that resemble fruits, and some junipers have berry-like fleshy cones. The branch of horticulture that deals with the study of fruits and their cultivation is called pomology. As you know, in most of the plants, pollination is a vital part of fruit development. In a few species, the fruit may develop in the absence of pollination or fertilization by a process known as parthenocarpy. Such fruits are seedless. During fruit formation, after an ovule is fertilized in a process known as pollination, the ovary begins to expand. The petals of the flower fall off and the ovule develops into a seed. So the ovary wall changes into fruit wall. The ovary eventually comes to form a structure known as fruit, which surrounds the seed or seeds. So after fertilization, the ovary develops into the fruit and the ovules into seed. Fruit development continues until the seeds have matured. But the real question here is that how this fruit develops and how it actually looks like. Let us see this.
Structure of fruit. Fruits vary widely in physical appearance, but their basic structure is the same. Fruit consists of mainly two parts, the seeds and a pericarp. The wall of the fruit developed from the ovary wall of the flower is called the pericarp. The pericarp is often differentiated into 2 or 3 distinct layers. The outermost layer, which forms the outer thin leathery cover, is called the epicarp. The middle layer is known as mesocarp. It is sweet, fleshy, edible part of fruit. Inner layer is known as endocarp. It is a hard inner layer which surrounds the seed. These 3 regions, epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp, together are called the pericarp. A mango that has been cut in half clearly reveals these layers. The soft, fuzzy skin is the epicarp. The juicy part of the mango is the mesocarp. And the inner hard and stony layer, which encases seed, is endocarp.
In some fruits, especially simple fruits derived from an inferior ovary, other parts of the flower such as sepals, petals and stamens fuse with the ovary and ripen with it. When such other floral parts are a significant part of the fruit, it is called an accessory fruit. Since other parts of the flower may contribute to the structure of the fruit, it is important to study flower structure to understand how a particular fruit forms. These fruits are so varied in form and development that it is difficult to devise a classification scheme that includes all known fruits. So let us discuss about the classification of fruits.
Classification of fruits. There are 3 basic types of fruits. Simple fruits, aggregate fruits, multiple fruits. Let us discuss these types one by one. Simple fruits. Simple fruits develop from single monocarpellary or multicarpellary syncarpous ovary. Common example of simple fruit is pea, which develops from monocarpellary ovary, as you can see here in the visual. Simple fruits are divided into 2 types, dry fruits and fleshy fruits. Dry fruits. Dry fruits have dry pericarp, which is not distinguished into 3 layers. Beans, tamarind, that is imli, lychee, cashew nut, etc. are all dry simple fruits, as they have a dry pericarp which is not distinguished into 3 layers. Dry simple fruits are further divided into 3 types. These are dehiscent, indehiscent, schizocarpic. Dehiscent dry fruit. Dehiscent fruits are those fruits in which the seeds are contained in a seed pod, which opens to release the seeds or which burst automatically and discharge seeds. Types of dry dehiscent fruits are legume or pod, follicle, siliqua, capsule. Let us discuss these types one by one. Legume. Legume is a dehiscent dry fruit produced from monocarpellary superior ovary with splits on 2 sides. This is the fruit of a sweet pea, that is Lathyrus odoratus. Other fruits of this type are all in members of the pea family, such as Acacia, Medicago sativa, and Pisum sativum. Next type is follicle. A follicle is a dehiscent dry fruit produced from monocarpellary superior ovary with splits on one side only. It may contain one or many seeds. This is the fruit of a Calotropis or uck, which is a follicle. Next type is siliqua. A siliqua is a dehiscent dry fruit produced from a bicarpellary syncarpous superior ovary, which is unilocular but appears bilocular due to false septum. Fruit of brassica is of siliqua type. Last type of dehiscent dry fruit is capsule. A capsule is the most common fruit type produced from syncarpous superior or inferior ovary, which dehisces along 2 or more lines of suture in various ways. There are several types of capsule depending on how the fruit splits. Common plants which possess this type of fruit are cotton, that is Gossypium, eucalyptus, and Datura.
Students, these were the types of dehiscent type of fruits. After this, now we will focus on the second type of dry simple fruits, which is known as indehiscent type. Indehiscent types of fruits are those fruits in which the seeds are not contained in a seed pod which opens to release the seeds, or indehiscent fruits are those which do not dehisce to discharge seeds. Dry indehiscent fruits are of different types. These are achene, nut, Samara, Caryopsis, and Cypsela. Let us discuss these types one by one.
Achene. An achene is a single-seeded, dry indehiscent fruit developing from monocarpellary ovary and in which the seed coat or pericarp is not part of the fruit coat. Here you can see the fruit of a sunflower, that is Helianthus anus, which is achene. Other fruits of this type are Ranunculus, Clematis, Dahlia, and English marigold, that is Calendula. Next type is nut. A nut is a large one-seeded fruit with hard pericarp that develop from a bi- or multicarpellary ovary. As the name indicates, fruit wall become hard and stony at maturity. Fruits of this type are chestnut, cashew nut, and lychee. Next type of indehiscent type of fruit is Samara. A Samara is an independent dry indehiscent, one-seeded winged fruit developing from a bicarpellary syncarpous ovary. Example of this type is a fruit of Holopetalea integrifolia, that is chilbill. Next type of indehiscent type of fruit is Caryopsis. A Caryopsis is a simple, dry indehiscent, one-seeded fruit developing from a monocarpellary ovary in which the seed coat or pericarp is fused with the fruit coat. Here you can see a fruit of sweet corn, that is Z, which is of Caryopsis type. Last type of indehiscent type of fruit is Cypsela. A Cypsela is a single-seeded dry indehiscent fruit that develops from a bicarpellary syncarpous and inferior ovary with calyx persistent and forming the pappus. It contains only one seed. Cypsela type of fruit of Sonchus is shown here.
Students, ਤੁਸੀਂ fruits ਦੇ indehiscent type ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਿਆ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਧਿਆਨ third type ਦੇ dry simple fruits ਤੇ ਲਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ schizocarpic type ਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਣਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। Here, the fruit dehisces into units called pericarps. Pericarps in turn splits to release the seeds. Schizocarpic fruits are of different types. These are Lomentum, Cremocarp, Regma, Carcerule. Let us discuss these types. Lomentum. It is a simple dry schizocarpic fruit. Here, the fruit is constricted between seeds into a number of one-seeded compartments. The fruit breaks into one-seeded indehiscent segments. Examples of this type of fruit are Mimosa pudica and Acacia. Next type is Cremocarp. It is a simple dry schizocarpic fruit developing from an inferior syncarpous bilocular ovary. At maturity, the fruit splits into two one-seeded segments called pericarps. This type is found in Coriandrum. Other type of schizocarpic fruits is Regma. It is a simple dry schizocarpic fruit developing from a bi- or multicarpellary syncarpous superior ovary, having 3 to many carpels and 3 to many locules. At maturity, it splits into as many parts as there are carpels. Example of this type is Custard, that is ricinus. Another type of schizocarpic fruit is Carcerule. It is produced from bicarpellary syncarpous tetralocular and superior ovary. The fruit breaks up into 4 indehiscent parts having one seed each. Example is Ocimum. Students, these were the types of schizocarpic type of fruits. As now we are done with dry simple fruits. Now it is the time to focus on the second type of simple fruits, which is known as simple fleshy fruits. Fruits in which part or all of the pericarp, that is fruit wall, is fleshy at maturity are known as simple fleshy fruits. Types of fleshy simple fruits are berry, pepo, drupe, pome, Hesperidium, Balosta and Amphisarca. Let us discuss some of these important types.
Berry. It is a simple, fleshy, generally many-seeded fruit with pulpy and juicy pericarp produced from a syncarpous ovary. Fruits of this type are banana, tomato, brinjal, grapes and guava. Next type is drupe. It is a simple fleshy fruit enclosing one seed in which pericarp is differentiated into outer epicarp, the middle fleshy mesocarp and inner hard and stony endocarp, as shown here in the visual of mango. Next type is pepo. It is a simple fleshy fruit, generally many-seeded and develops from an inferior monolocular ovary having parietal placentation. Examples are cucumber and watermelon. Next type is pome. It is a simple fleshy false fruit which develops from a syncarpous inferior ovary having axile placentation. After fertilization, the thalamus becomes fleshy and edible, but the actual fruit containing seeds remain inside as found in apple. Next type of fleshy simple fruits is Hesperidium. It is a simple fleshy fruit developing from a syncarpous inferior ovary having axile placentation, and pericarp is differentiated into outer thick leathery epicarp having a number of oil glands. The middle white mesocarp closely attached to the inner side of the epicarp and the inner endocarp projecting inwards, forming distinct chambers. From the inner wall of the endocarp grow out numerous thick swollen hairs containing a syrupy juice. They are edible, as you must have seen in orange and lemon.
Simple type बारे पढ़न तो बाद हुन असी second main type पाव aggregate fruit बारे जानांगे. So let us study this type. Aggregate fruit. Fruit that develops from the apocarpous ovary of a flower is called an aggregate fruit. It is a collection of simple fruits or fruitlets, all of which develop from the apocarpous ovaries of the same flower. After fertilization, each carpel develops into a fruitlet and hence there will be as many fruitlets as there were carpels in the flower. Such an aggregate of simple fruits is also known as an Etaerio. There are different types of aggregate fruits. Let us discuss these types one by one. The first type is Etaerio of follicles. In this, each carpel of an apocarpous ovary develop into a follicle. Examples are Michelia, champaca and Calotropis. Next type is Etaerio of achenes. It is an aggregate of achenes as found in Clematis and Strawberry. Next type is Etaerio of drupes, which is an aggregate of drupes as found in raspberry. Last type is Etaerio of berries, which means that bunch of berries crowded together on a thick thalamus forming as single fruit as shown in the Anona, that is custard apple. So students, This was all about the aggregate type of fruits. Now it is the turn to study the third main type of fruits known as multiple fruits. Let us study it.
Multiple fruits. A multiple fruit is one formed from a cluster of flowers called as inflorescence. Each flower produces a fruit, but these mature into a single mass. Examples are the pineapple, edible fig, mulberry, and jackfruit. These are of two types. First one is sorosis. In this type, fruit is produced from the entire inflorescence, which is spike or spadix, in which flowers fuse by their succulent perianth. Examples of this type are jackfruit and pineapple. The second type is cyconus. In this type, fruit is produced from the entire Hypanthoddium inflorescence. An example of this type is ficus.
Students, these fruits are very important. Many fruits, including fleshy fruits like apples and mangoes, and nuts like walnut, are commercially valuable as human food, eaten both fresh and made into jams, marmalade, and other preserves for future consumption. Fruits are also found commonly in many manufactured foods such as cookies, muffins, yogurt, ice cream, cakes, and many more. So students, this is all about fruits and it is enough for today. Let us quickly summarize what we have learned today. Fruit is the ripened ovary of a flowering plant that contains the seeds, sometimes fused with other parts of the plant. There are two types of fruits. These are true fruit and false fruit. A fruit derived from ovary of a flower not associated with any non-carpellary part is called a true fruit. The fruit derived from the ovary along with other accessory floral parts is called a false fruit. Now let us check the classification of fruits. Simple fruits, aggregate fruits, and multiple fruits. So students, enough for today. Let us quickly check with some short questions what you have grabbed today. Be attentive, here are some questions. The first question is, define fruit. Answer. Fruit can be defined as the seed-bearing part of a plant, often edible, colorful and fragrant, produced from a floral ovary after fertilization. The next question is, what is true fruit? Give example. The answer is, a fruit derived from ovary of a flower not associated with any non-carpellary part is called a true fruit. It is also known as eucarp. Common example of true fruit is mango. My next question is, name two types of simple fruits. The answer is, simple fruits are divided into two types, dry fruits and fleshy fruits. The next question is, what are dehiscent fruits? Answer. Dehiscent fruits are those fruits in which the seeds are contained in a seed pod, which opens to release the seeds or which burst automatically to discharge seeds. Next question. Name different types of schizocarpic fruits. Answer. Schizocarpic fruits are of different types. These are lumentum, cremocarp, regma, and carcerule. Students, thanks for your cooperation and attention. Looking forward to the next class. See you then. Goodbye.